For a majority of white Americans, we understand that racism is wrong, but talking about racism is worse. The stories I've heard from parents, current students, and former students of VBCPS are filled with racist bullying. The recent story about the Kempsville baseball team was not surprising, making me sad and disgusted. I am very disappointed that I have not seen any board member make a public statement about this incident.
There is a story brewing in Virginia Beach involving Kempsville High School, specifically the institution's baseball team.
Some were shocked by the incidents involving the Kempsville baseball team, which caused them to forfeit their season due to the use of racist hate speech by team members. Please know this incident is not an isolated one because my own sixth grade daughter has experienced this at a Virginia Beach middle school.
Virginia Beach City Schools Superintendent Donald Robertson spoke with local media saying they are investigating. However,
we find ourselves still fighting to be treated equally within the Virginia Beach school system. Hearing about the racism that several children were forced to endure on the baseball team was disheartening, however, not surprising to me. As president of the Virginia Beach NAACP branch, we have been fighting against racism since 1941.
Robertson would say the language was not reported to coaches. Parents appear to disagree that leadership on the team were unaware.
In my interactions with children and teenagers, many of whom attend VBCPS, I've heard heartbreaking stories from students enduring derogatory remarks, feeling unwelcome at certain schools, hearing racial slurs, jeering at sporting events, or just feeling completely uncomfortable when visiting certain schools. Moreover, I've noticed subtle, but no less, forms of prejudice among adults on social media when people advise other people when they're moving here to steer clear of certain schools, particularly those with certain demographics, using certain nicknames or saying certain ones are bad, perpetuating harmful stereotypes or divisions in our community. My lack of surprise at these extends to the inequities I've witnessed firsthand as a sports parent.
This is not an isolated issue, but a broad and deeply rooted one that originates from bigotry and ignorance. The perpetrators are not just students. When teachers, coaches, counselors, and administrators ignore and do not admonish microaggressions, they perpetuate the pervasive nature of covert racism that happens in front of them every day in every school in Virginia Beach.
The Kempsville baseball team season would be forfeited after the findings, which were damning.
The Hampton Roads Black Caucus does not condone this behavior and fully supports the students who were targeted and as well as the families. The action of racial harassment, bullying, hate speech, ongoing taunting, and physical aggression displayed by the team members are morally unacceptable.
Here's what we know thus far. From 13 News Now, the bigotry spanned multiple years, which included hate speech and harassment within the varsity boys baseball team, prompting the season to be canceled. Kempsville High School principal Melissa George wrote in her statement the following: working with the senior executive director of high schools, Dr. Walter Brower, the chief of schools, Mr. Matt Delaney, and Coach Penn, we came to the decision that we cannot in good faith play baseball knowing the number of players involved. We will continue to work with VBCPS officials and school level personnel to determine what the remainder of the season will look like. Please know that this is much broader than the initial allegations brought forth and stems across multiple years. Should you have questions or concerns, you can reach out to Dr. Bauer. More info will be sent out once a decision has been made. Thank you, Melissa George.
Such racism actions and misconducts are counterproductive to fostering a healthy school environment, community, and city. The Hampton Road Black Caucus is committed to ensuring that diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI policy extends to athletes, team members to prevent future students from experiencing this kind of racist abuse. As Dr. Martin Luther King stated, it may be true that the law cannot change the heart, but it can be restrain the heartless. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. The legacy of former civil rights leader speaks to us today, condemning these immoral actions. Only by refusing to hate or kill can we put the end to the chain of racism behavior in our schools, city, state, nation, and the world. leading us towards a community where boys and girls can live without fear.
The investigation was prompted by videos posted on Facebook of an athlete's mother. Take a look.
He came to us and said that he had something very important to talk to us about, and he started the conversation by saying, I can't take it anymore, and at this point, I feel like I'm going to punch somebody. And we were looking like, where is this coming from? What is going on? And he was like, the kids on my baseball team. Some of the kids on the baseball team he was like, this has been going on since 9th grade, and I just haven't said anything. And because I felt like I would be basically blackballed, they would probably bench me, and I felt like nobody would do anything about it. And he said that they've been using racial slurs towards him, and they think it's funny, so they use it, and they do it so much. He said that they just do it casually in regular conversation. So I'm like, what are they saying? And he's like, sometimes they're joking and sometimes they're serious, but they'll be like, shut your black up, or shut up, monkey, or shut up.
Anissa Bowden spoke with WTKR, saying it is traumatizing to a child who's never had this happen before. And if it happens every single day of your life, you start thinking maybe they're right.
I come before you to discuss a matter of profound significance that impacts the lives of our students daily and has impacted my children's lives. Interpersonal racism and its detrimental effects within our schools. Interpersonal racism involves direct interactions between individuals where prejudice and discriminatory behaviors are expressed through words, action, or social exclusion. Students who are targets of racist remarks, bullying, or exclusion often suffer from feelings of isolation, fear, and lowered self-esteem. These students may experience anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The school environment, which should be a place of safety and growth, becomes a source of stress and trauma.
The Virginia Beach branch of the NAACP, led by President Eric Majette, issues this statement. We call attention to the ongoing acts of hate and racism within the Virginia Beach public school system at Kempsville High School and are extremely concerned about how this situation has existed for quite some time. We applaud the brave young men who spoke up in an effort to advocate for equality within this system. A theme that I have heard from parents and leaders outside of the school board have been this: it's not an isolated incident, and some of them would speak on it further.
A local parent told me that when the Black Student Union formed at Kempsville High School, parents and students wrote vile things about it online, and the kids were getting harassed in the hallway and asked questions like, would it be racist if we started a white supremacy club? This is what racist children and parents do. They attempt to recenter whiteness. This is a form of racism.
These incidents reflect a much larger problem that demands our immediate action. They are stark reminders that racism and hate have not been eradicated from our schools, but continue to fester, harming students and undermining the values we strive to uphold. Racist behavior and hate speech are not just mistakes or boys being boys. They are harmful actions that have real and lasting impacts on the victims, creating an environment of fear, exclusion, and marginalization.
In addition, at the school board meeting, Majette would advocate for leadership to train staff and students, put in established programs to end racist hate speech and actions that could harm the student body. WTKR's Brendan Ponton would write, some students would be disciplined for their actions. Additionally, 2 assistant coaches are not on the roster while the manager remains. If you can, please do become a channel member at youtube.com/TYT Sports by clicking the join button and or go to tyt.com/join. You can also support me by going to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Please give me a follow on there. It is quite clear, and it is a reason why I want to cover these hyperlocal stories, is because not only is it important to shed light on this, but also try and mandate change. Everything that these parents said, everything that local leaders have said of different organizations ring true. There needs to be serious structural change. And if there isn't, then we're just going to have this repeat itself over and over and over again. And what I find rather fascinating is over the years, we have seen school boards being run down because of conservatives saying, oh, we can't allow I don't even know if it'll demonetize the video, PORN in books for kids. And if you watch John Oliver's piece from 2 weeks ago, you will see that this is largely and widely BS. It is a boogeyman that they're playing up, much like CRT or Mr. Potato Head, blah, blah, blah. Yet when it comes to real serious issues, like a child or a young teen being racially abused, they are silent. They will go crazy after a book. But when it comes to this, nothing. Crickets. Here's my question. When do we, as people who share the same spaces and live amongst one another, finally come together and say that it is not about the culture wars that are taking place over and over and over again? It is about unity and strength in numbers. I leave you with that.